Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. There's a lot to cover, bear with me. It's been a very interesting 18 hours, not even the last 24 hours. The last 18 hours have been very weird. However, we're going to start from 2 days ago because it will be incredibly relevant. To start things off, it says, as the U.S. 10-year Treasury yield has fallen to a new low, many analysts believe that an economic recession is likely to happen. Investors are looking at bonds as a safe haven. The U.S. 10-year Treasury yield has fallen below 1.04%. This drop came as other rates in the United States have been dropping as well. This is occurring due to the global economic disruptions that we've been experiencing the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. Already, Wall Street has reportedly been calling for the Federal Reserve to intervene via stimulus. This has shown that the 10-year Treasury yield might be appealing to investors, i.e. when other things are falling, maybe they want to put their money somewhere else to help keep the economy propped up. Sources indicate that the yields fell to 1.036% through the night. It returned to normalcy at around 1.05%. The 2-year yield also reportedly reduced to 0.71%. The 30-year yield was a surprising 1.623. Wow, that's such a high percentage. This has been noted by many analysts to be a new low. Many in Wall Street are making big bets on the Fed's intervention. This intervention is expected to be a special one considering the effects of everything that's been happening in the global economy. The U.S. economy is expected to slow down due to gaps brought on by the last couple of weeks. The Fed futures market at its price cut of 50 basis points. Several analysts are already considering 100 point cuts. Wow, that was difficult to say. By the Fed. The Feds aren't sitting still either. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell has indicated in a statement that the evolving risks are evolving. I don't know. He also said that Fed officers would use their tools and act as appropriate to support the economy. So this, like I said, this was 2 days ago. Where we had indications that Treasury yields were falling, which, so right here, last night, going forward from that other thing that also happened with the other rates that were falling, the U.S. Central Bank has also made an emergency rate cut. The U.S. Federal Central Bank, has slashed interest rates in response to mounting concerns over the economic impact over the last couple of weeks. The Federal Reserve lowered its benchmark rate by 50 basis points to a range of 1% to around 1% to 1.25%. The emergency move comes as the G7 group of finance ministers pleaded action earlier on Tuesday, or pledged, kind of the same thing. It follows warnings that slowdown from the virus could tip countries into recession. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said the U.S. economy remains strong, but it is difficult to predict the magnitude and persistence of the effects of all of the things that are happening. He said, we don't have all the answers, but we do believe that our action will provide a meaningful boost to the economy. Over the last couple of days, I know a lot of people may not have been paying attention to this as much as I've noticed. Family members, friends, other people who I may hang out with in general. I think I'm usually so wrapped up in business, in the economy, in money, in any type of investing thing. I pay attention to rates and I pay attention to other things that are going on. But usually, I don't want to say normal people, just people who aren't into finance. They usually have no idea what's actually going on as far as money-wise. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says Indonesia's planning a second stimulus package. This one says South Korea unveils a $13.7 billion stimulus package. This one says Taiwan approves a $2 billion stimulus package. And this one, pretty much stores within the heavily affected areas, especially Starbucks, have been trying to reopen. It says Coffee Giant says 85% of its roughly 4,290 stores in the country are operating once again. A lot of places are being told, and I'm not joking either. They're being told, we're not making enough money. The economy is not doing well. Despite what risks there might be, you have to reopen. This one says stocks fall sharply Despite surprise Fed rate cut, the Dow Jones closed nearly 800 points lower. Treasury yields also dropped again despite the Federal Reserve's move. So the idea is, for those of you maybe who don't understand exactly what a rate cut is, because I will tell you, before I got into finance, I didn't understand it. The entire idea is, if you are trying to take out a loan, let's say of $100,000, round number, and the interest rate for you to do so is around 5%, you're like, I'm not really in the mood, don't really feel like paying back a 5% interest rate. If they lower the rate to 2%, you're like, well, you only have to pay back 2% on that 100,000. That's not too bad. And then when they lower the interest rate to 1%, well, the outlook of you getting that mortgage or that loan is a bit brighter, because you don't mind paying back just 1% as opposed to 5%. So whenever these rate cuts happen, they are typically done to make not lending, what's the word? Debt. So that debt is cheaper to take on. So it's usually not all the time for the everyday Joe. It's more so for companies and corporations who are trying to build mega projects, or someone who's trying to take out a $15 billion loan to build 5 new buildings. You know, it's a lot more attractive. If your interest rate is 7%, no one's going to want to pay back 7% to the bank. However, if it's around 1%, that looks kind of nice. And this has happened before all over the world, before in the past. If you lower interest rates, historically, typically, sometimes the market picks back up. Why? Because debt is then a lot cheaper to take on, and people can do what they want to do and continue buying and all these other projects and all this other stuff that the mega rich are doing. But when you cut interest rates and then stock markets fall, this is not good at all. U.S. stocks and government bond yields slid on Tuesday after the Federal Reserve's interest rate cut failed to assuage, money managers fearful of the economy fallout. The Fed's move sparked a frenzy of trading. Stocks initially shot higher, propelling the Dow Jones Industrial Average up by more than 350 points. But within 15 minutes, stocks' initial action gave way to a jerky up and down trading action, with the blue chip average and trading yields tumbling after the Fed acknowledged the limits of the central bank's actions in a press conference. He said, "We do recognize the rate cut won't reduce the rate of infection, provide a meaningless," though he added that he believed the move would provide a meaningful boost to the economy. The Dow fell 785 points, or 2.9%. I mean, it feels like we are on the cusp of something ridiculous, if I can kind of say that. We have had, I mean, if you've been paying attention to any type of economic financial news over the past 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, that's not even a fake number. I remember back in 2012 where people were saying that the stock market was going to, or the stock market was primed near falling once again after the last economic recession that we had was never really fixed. People just simply threw money at it. So we are only 2 months into this year. Like, it's the beginning of the 3rd month, and already things are looking a little grim. What does this one say? Oh yeah, for those of you who also don't know, it says how the Fed cut triggered a bullish Bitcoin reversal overnight. Bitcoin is trading in a positive zone against the US dollar, especially after the Fed interest rate cut. Bitcoin's price is likely to continue higher above the 8,900 and 9,000 resistance levels in the near term. Bitcoin is likely to gain traction after the recent breakout attempt against the US dollar. The price is trading nicely above 8680 and 8700 support levels. So when I woke up, one of my friends sent me a text about everything that had happened over the last 8, 9, 10 hours after I was sleeping. I was quite surprised. I wasn't expecting, I mean, I guess I should have expected some type of a Fed rate cut. But if there was going to be one, I expected that the stock market would have gone higher, and I was expecting the opposite correlation within the cryptocurrency market, where the cryptocurrency prices to fall. However, it was the exact opposite. A lot of countries around the world, I mean, I'm not going to spend too much more time on this. It's more of a lot of people are predicting that if this current thing that has been happening for the last 8 weeks continues to happen, we are going to have some type of a major pullback in all world markets, even more so than what we've already seen, even after the other stimulus packages have been announced by other countries who are saying that they're going to pump billions of dollars into their economies to keep things afloat. Markets are still going down. So we will see how this affects the economy and also the cryptocurrency markets, because that's a lot. I mean, especially for an emergency rate cut that did nothing. And part of the issue is, for those of you who don't know, there are a lot of other countries right now who have also been lowering their rates, and they actually have negative interest rates, which essentially would mean in some sort of way that the economy is doing so bad that the government would, in essence, pay you to take out a loan. If you have a negative interest rate of 0.25%, you're taking out $100 billion loan. Well, essentially the government's like, thank you for taking out all this money. We will pay you for doing so. That's kind of the easiest way of really looking at it. But the issue is that they've been cutting rates the last 7 or 8 years to make them continuously lower. A lot of countries are already in negative territory. And the problem or the issue is that if we do happen to fall into another recession, another economic huge downturn similar to 2008, 2009, which was once again never fixed, how do you lower your rates anymore? You can't, because they're already negative. There are, I think, 3 countries right now who are considering negative interest rates. And this was even before this entire thing happened, before all of this even started taking place. So, in no uncertain terms, and this isn't meant to scare anyone, prepare yourself for what could potentially take place. Usually if we get news like this, or some type of a fear, scare thing that's going on, it may be on 1 or 2 different websites, but the fact that every major country around the world is now pumping as much money as possible into their economies, and it's not really working. I said it to all my friends, and I'll say it to all of you, as I guess you all kind of are my friends. It's going to be an interesting year. I don't know if it's been this way for all of you, but the first 8 weeks of this year have been ridiculous, in every sense of the word, and it's all aspects of life. So I assume this is going to anyway. Yes, be prepared, because something is going to happen. Something. And I don't mean this as a joke. We're either going to, according to analysts, see a huge economic downturn, or if things get better, markets are going to completely skyrocket. And I know they can only go one of 2 ways, but something's going to happen. It's just a matter of which one will take place. Anyway, that's the crazy news, and let's move on. Also, in the last 18 hours, this is actually one of the most bullish things that we've heard from in quite a bit of time. It says there is finally some good news out of India today, as reports are emerging that the Supreme Court has quashed a curb on crypto trading. According to the local news outlet, The Economic Times, India's Supreme Court has nullified a curb on crypto trading. The official report stated that the SC rules curb on cryptocurrency trade illegal. The Reserve, here's the entire point. The Reserve Bank of India has made every single effort to ban any dealings in crypto assets by individuals and businesses. Its campaign began in April 2018, I think even a bit before that, with circular instructing banks and companies not to deal with digital assets. This began actually in the beginning of 2018, because January 2018, for those of you who were not here, was a very stressful period in the cryptocurrency space, not even the markets, in the space. Prices were falling, but at the same exact time, because we had hit new all-time highs, governments around the world were telling their central banks to either ban cryptocurrencies, to tell people to stop using cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies were illegal. There were so many things, and they kept on, and I mentioned in the videos as well, which was also really weird, because none of it was ever, not that it wasn't consistent, is that they were all releasing this information 1 week after each other. It would have been one thing if they had all been fearful at the exact same time, but it seemed in my eyes very coordinated. And one of the countries that was hit the hardest by this was India, because it was wildly speculated that while South Korea and Japan were the leaders of the cryptocurrency markets at that point, that India, with over 1 billion people, would have so much economic power over the coming years that they would bring this new age of cryptocurrencies. And that's when the Reserve Bank of India was like, yo, nope, no, it's banned. You can't do that. Sorry, no one can touch it. And it's been very difficult for people living in that country who've been trying to do anything with cryptocurrencies. I think 3 or 4 of their major cryptocurrency exchanges, all the top crypto exchanges that were in that country, they all had to close because of something that the Reserve Bank of India said. Regulated exchanges and service providers that were already working within the industry were told to, what did I just say? Were told to exit the ecosystem within 3 months. The Internet and Mobile Association of India had argued that trading in digital assets in the absence of a law banning them was a legitimate business activity under the Indian constitution, i.e. there was nothing on the books. There was nothing in the law. It was simply the people went on stage and they said, yeah, it's banned. Sorry, you can't use it. And people said that they were looking through the books to see if anything had been written, if anything had been made official. Nothing had. It's the same exact thing we were talking about before. Talking really fast. Same exact thing that we were talking about before from that other podcast where the guy was living in Africa. And he was like, he was going around to other businesses asking them if they took Bitcoin. And they were like, no, we don't deal in illegal things here. And he looked through all the books and there was nothing. He even went to a bank and was asking them, is crypto illegal? And they were like, no. Where'd you hear that from? It was because somebody went on the news and were like, yeah, it's illegal. Which is funny because them saying something false like that would affect millions of other people within the country wasn't illegal. So you can just go on TV and lie to other people. The RBI defended its actions, taking the matter to the Supreme Court, which procrastinated for months as the case dragged on. According to Bloomberg, a panel of 3 judges, headed by Justice Rohinton F. Nariman, agreed with petitions by cryptocurrency exchanges, startups, and industry bodies. Many of the arguments claimed that the central bank wasn't empowered to ban crypto assets, and its directive hadn't adequately studied the matter. The report added that the Supreme Court is separately hearing another case on regulations for cryptocurrencies, and today's judgment weakens the case for strict norms. Last month, Bitcoiners reported on the RBI's own plans for a digital rupee. As it stands right now, any ban, according to the Supreme Court, has been nullified. So I don't know what effect this will have on the cryptocurrency space. This news was on every single cryptocurrency website that I could possibly find. Here's the actual website, the news rather, from the Economic Times. It says SC allows trading cryptocurrency, quashes RBI curb. Any ban that there was is apparently gone. So apparently businesses, organizations, companies can now open up bank accounts if they're dealing with cryptocurrencies, which were also closed. And apparently people can also now trade them. I am shocked that the market hasn't already jumped up. I assume, and I mean this in the most honest way, if a lot of the infrastructure has been torn down in India, it may take them a while to start reopening things for this to cause like a bit of movement in the market. News that 1 billion people on this planet now have access once again to cryptocurrencies should be the most bullish thing for you and all of your friends who trade and deal in cryptocurrencies. Yeah, I mean, this was everywhere. India Supreme Court lifts RBI ban on banking services, crypto firms. India says cryptocurrency trading using banks allowed as SC holds RBI circular unconstitutional. This one says India Supreme Court lifts banking ban on crypto exchanges. And Supreme Court of India, I hate that. Why is that such a word today? Quashes. Where did that come from? I mean, it's why is it so popular today? RBI ban on cryptocurrency. Who disliked this article? What monster would dislike an article like that? I remember, I forgot, there was some news before years ago that like Bitcoin had reached a new all-time high, something, not even in price. It was something dealing with a new record, and everyone was like, woo. And I was looking at the article and people were like, I hate Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to go down. I'm like, how do you dislike 1 billion people being allowed back into the cryptocurrency space? People are monsters. Anyway, that is, I mean, that should bullify everyone right now. I mean, the fact that Fed rates were cut, cryptocurrency prices remained sideways or went up, and now 1 billion people on this planet now have access once again to cryptocurrencies. And it's looking pretty good. Next up, also, and I guess in super bullish news, 42% of all Bitcoin has not moved on chain for at least 2 years. The highest concentration of holdings since June 2017. Nate Madry said as of March 1st, almost 42% of all Bitcoin has not moved on chain for at least 2 years. The amount of Bitcoin untouched in more than 2 years has not eclipsed 42% since summer of 2017. There's a little crazy chart right there. Hodl waves are periods of heavy Bitcoin accumulation which can be monitored by Bitcoin unspent transaction outputs, or UTXOs. I'll explain what that is in a second. I've done it before, but I'll really explain it. When block rewards are given to a miner, a UTXO is created. When Bitcoin is spent, the UTXO becomes an input to the user receiving the Bitcoin, and any change is sent back to the spender as a different UTXO. Every Bitcoin transaction consists of inputs and unspent BTC. My spent UTXO becomes an input sent to you, and that input becomes your UTXO to spend as you please. I understand how this might be a bit confusing. UTXO enables analysts to roughly gauge how much Bitcoin is actively being hodled, by investors. By analyzing how long it has been since a UTXO has been used to make a transaction. The longer the period, the more it indicates cold storage and long-term saving. Pretty much, if I send you so imagine me and you are Bitcoin, and I send you a transaction, and at the, those long string of numbers, just imagine for a second to really simplify it. My transaction at the very end of it has the numbers 1, 2, 3. The transaction gets to you, and you realize at some point you want to send it to the third person, to your friend. And when you send it to them, it has the numbers 1, 2, 3 from me and 4, 5, and 6 from you. When it gets to your friend has it for about a good 3, 4, 5 months. They decided to sell it to somebody else as well. And at that point, the UTXO that is connected to that transactions that have been taking place are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it goes to your friend, and that kind of keeps going on and on and on. That's a very simplified way. But it's also the way, if you want to know how, it's the same exact way that when governments or someone else blacklists a cryptocurrency address, they do it by the UTXOs that have pretty much hit that actual address or account or whatever you kind of want to call it. So they can see, well, we know that my cryptocurrency always, when I send something, it makes a 1, 2, 3. That one does a 4, 5, 6. That one does a 7, 8, 9. So they can kind of place everything to say, well, this one hit this account and this one was located inside of this country because we know because of the forensics. Yada, yada, yada. The entire point being, a lot of Bitcoin has been accumulated, like I've been speculating since around 2018, 2019. A lot of it has not moved nearly. We're a good 8% off. 42% of all Bitcoin has not moved at all over the last 2 years. That means people have been accumulating in mass. And I'm going to just assumption time. A lot of that probably has to do with institutions who are buying up as much as possible and putting them away in caves and in mountains and in back pockets and under mattresses. I'm sure can you imagine if Coinbase had a cold wallet and it was just under somebody's mattress? Anyway, the entire point is, yeah, that's insane. Like, imagine if 42% of all US dollars just hadn't been used. Like, if everyone was like just accumulating as much US dollars as possible. And we know that there's less Bitcoin than there are US dollars. And also, we know that rich people are buying more than one Bitcoin at a time. So it makes you really wonder exactly how much wealth is just simply not moving. How much wealth is being transferred into crypto and then is being accumulated and placed somewhere for safekeeping. Fascinating. And I can only assume that this number will increase further, because imagine realistically, if Bitcoin goes from its current price to 18,000 US dollars, people are going to be less inclined to sell because everybody wants to see exactly how much more higher the price is going to go. If Bitcoin goes from where we are now by the end of this year or the beginning of next year to 50,000 US dollars, a lot less Bitcoin is going to be moving around. And it kind of gets to that same exact situation. First of all, I never plan on selling for an ever. I think I'll start using my Bitcoin by the time Bitcoin's price is anywhere over 500,000 to 1 million. And even then, I'll be a little shaky. I'm like, well, we made it to 1 million. Okay, I'll stop talking. The entire point is 42% of all Bitcoin has not moved in 2 years. I assume that number is going to increase. And without further ado, I'm out of breath. Let's move on. Next up, Bitfinex. They are a cryptocurrency exchange. They have announced that they will start an immediate delisting spree this Wednesday. That is today. Removing pairs with extremely low volumes. Bitfinex has once again reviewed its trading pairs and announced it will start a new wave of delisting soon. Besides a technical difficulty, carrying small-scale coins in low-volume markets can be a doorway for exploits. They said the removal of these trading pairs is a common measure that serves to consolidate and improve liquidity on Bitfinex, leading to a more streamlined and optimized trading experience for users. Just like the recent Binance delistings, Bitfinex will not remove the tokens entirely, but just their most inactive and low liquidity pairs. There is no need to withdraw the assets, and users are urged to close orders only if the pairs listed are in the official message. So it has some of the coins here. The entire point is they're not delisting the coins themselves yet, because keeping in mind when you remove a trading pair, well, that reduces the liquidity between that coin. So when you reduce the liquidity between that coin and other major coins, and no one's using that coin, well, eventually the coin is probably going to get delisted. So here's the actual list right here. For those of you not looking at the screen, I will try to read some of the more popular ones. It says the following trading pairs for Ethereum will be delisted. Fusion, Scorum, Credits, don't know what that is. Elf, Mithril, Context Box, Limpo, Bank to the Future, BlockPass, Loom Network, Verge, Matrix AI, Foam, Nucleus, and Cortex. I feel like this is the moment where I have to repeat. Please pay attention to where you have your money. If you find yourself in constant situations where I'm reading the delistings from different cryptocurrency trading pairs and you get shocked or angry or upset because your coin is being delisted or the trading pair is being delisted or the coin will soon be delisted on these platforms, it may be time to reevaluate your positions in the cryptocurrency market. There's a reason why, and I'll repeat this once again as well. Why when we get news about the cryptocurrency market, it is 90% are usually about Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and a good 10% left is usually about Lumens, Litecoin, EOS, Tron, Fifth Coin, whatever other coin is kind of out there. I notice a lot of people, and I don't know if they're bots, and just in general, people constantly trying to pump really bad coins that you as even the pumper should not have your money in. It just makes so much more logical sense, not financial advice, to put your money into something that's more secure within the cryptocurrency space as opposed to other coins that are, I mean, how many times have we had to go over, this is a lot of coins right here. I haven't even gone through the Bitcoin delistings. Make sure your money's in a safe place, as always, and in a very secure market. I repeat, never. You are never going to walk into a store in the year 2035 trying to buy a Mazda Miata or whatever people are buying, and you will not be paying in Bank to the Future. Can you imagine going into your local shop and they ask you, how do you want to pay? I'm paying in Bank to the Future. You will not be paying in Nucleus Vision. You will not be paying in Elf. You will not be paying in Octus. Pay attention to where your money is. The Bitcoin delistings are Commerce Block, Edge, Ors Group, Block V, Nectar Token, Nucleus Vision, Everipedia, Limpo, Hydro Protocol, Yo Yao, Autonomy, AidCoin, Medical Chain, and Essentia. The following tokens will be delisted to DAI, that is DAI, the stablecoin, Omise Go, and 0x. The following tokens to the Japanese yen will be delisted. They are Verge. Pay attention to where all of this is going. I try my best. I can only, what's the phrase? You can only lead a horse to water, not calling you horses, but it's, you know, I can only give you the hints so many times. Remember in 2018, for those of you who are still here, who used to scream at me, I assume many of them have left over anger at my voice or whatever they were angry at that one moment. And I kept on saying, whenever we get news about institutional interest in the cryptocurrency space, 99% of the time, it's between Bitcoin, Ether, and a little sliver of XRP. And sometimes we get news of other companies who are asking, should we list Litecoin? Should we list EOS? Should we list Lumens? And even then, they usually don't get listed. Pay attention to the market. Make sure your money's in the right place. Bitfinex is a major exchange. When Bitfinex and Binance are constantly delisting coins and pairings, you should make sure your money is in the right place. That's all I'm going to say. And without further ado, let's move on. To finish things off, for some reason, this was also I guess people liked this news. Maybe it made them feel fancy. Changpeng Zhao, the chief executive officer of the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchange known as Binance, is now the wealthiest man in the world of cryptocurrency and blockchain. The Huron Global Rich List of 2020, which ranks billionaires in the world, reported that Zhao sits on $2.6 billion and has replaced Bitmain co-founder Mikri Qutian-San as the world's richest crypto billionaire. San, who held the title in 2018 and 2019, saw his wealth drop by over $1 billion following his ouster as executive director of Bitmain last year. Money, he now ranks second after Zhao. Billionaires. Responding to the Huron list released last Wednesday, Zhao said he has not yet cashed in on his crypto holdings since he founded Binance in 2017. I don't think he's ever going to cash in. I wholeheartedly, first of all, for those of you who don't know, Changpeng Zhao is a what you would call a perma bull for Bitcoin. He is one of the believers that Bitcoin is not only going to hit 100,000, but that in some point in the future, Bitcoin will also hit $1 million per coin. So I don't think Changpeng Zhao is going to be selling Bitcoin for 9,000 anytime soon, especially when he believes it is going to hit $1 million. He said, valuation is a fascinating concept, like credit. Just checked my wallet, don't have the 2.6 billion, missing a few zeros, LOL. He actually said LOL out loud. But even 1% is cool for me. Money is not a driver after a point, but it tends to go to people who build. So for some, I mean, yay, he's rich. This was also everywhere. I guess maybe the news that he hit the rich list, I think in 2017, I think Brad Garlinghouse was in the, was it top 3 or top 5 or something like that when XRP hit 360. All these people are extremely wealthy. I think once you pass by a $100 million self net worth valuation, I don't think the numbers really matter at that point. You're rich. But I guess when you hit the billions in crypto, then you're rich. I don't know. But anyway, Changpeng Zhao, congratulations. I don't know how I'm supposed to end this segment without making it awkward. I'm just going to click and move forward. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Marcin Steuer, Josh Gorsika, Chongololo Songololo, wow. I tried to say like 5 words at once. It just did. My mouth was like, no. Nostromo, Mr. Pickles, John Sarson, the Animal Reader, Bibliophobia, Barebones Mining, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mohammed Maroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Brady Neal, Jared Schneider, Wise Nine Owl, 24 Truth to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, Miluizi, Crypto Artist, Goldie 3D, Nicholas Ronaldo, Peace One Love, Damien Setsun, Nick Kanai, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Crypto Miss Shipbank, Paxis, Nick Mangela, Vodi Anthony, Charles, Jim Garner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller His Just Every Day, and Cal Skips Leg Day, Yes to Crypto, Buddy McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Smarts Corner Staff, Arthmetic 17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger Matronisa on Crypto with Lionel Creole, and Michelle URL, and hold on, I have to sneeze. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Oh, crap. There's no air in my lungs. Thank you all very, very much. And thank you to everyone who is a supporter of the channel, who has clicked the little join button below this video, I am lightheaded at the moment. The cryptocurrency market is down a tiny bit. This is, I guess, to be expected, as we have seen the previous correlations before. But to be fair, we aren't down by 3 to 15%, like a lot of people were calling. I'm still seeing those really random messages, not here, but like people posting stuff that Bitcoin's going back to 3,000, going back to 5,000. I think somebody wrote in the comment section yesterday that they hope that Bitcoin goes back to 700, and I was like, I don't. That means Bitcoin's dead. Like, if Bitcoin goes back to 700, there's been a fundamental flaw in everything we've been doing. Anyway, Chainlink is up by almost 10%. Dope. Cardano's up by 2.46%. And VeChain Thor is up. Dogecoin is up because Elon Musk said it in a tweet. That's not a joke either. I assume this is when the tweet was said, as the little spike price was right here. Apparently he keeps posting. So the thing that they were talking about is apparently Elon Musk keeps like writing the names of certain cryptocurrencies, but then he also comes out saying that he hates cryptocurrencies. And then I think he wrote something that he likes Doge. So then Doge goes up. That's the kind of world we live in. It just takes a tweet from Elon Musk. Anyway, I do hope that you all enjoyed. This has been a very interesting 18 hours or so. I assume, still assumption, that the rest of the week is going to... I think the rest of the week is going to get completely insane. I'm not expecting... nothing good, but all the madness that's been happening, I just only assume that things are gonna be a bit out there. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.